Hi, good evening. So, welcome to yet another week of Ask Me Anything. So, today, we are going to talk about something which is pretty interesting. A lot of people love to know what their Prakriti is or what their constitution is. So, this is something which I thought I can give you an overview about how different people with different uh, what you call doshas, how they are, how they are physically and how their mental state is. So that's what decides the prakriti of a person. Okay, so we'll slowly start with that. Okay, so this is a weekly session happening every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay, so today it is about Vata Pitta Kapha Prakriti in Ayurveda. Okay, people who you would have heard about Vata Pitta Kapha. Okay, and it is basically evolved from the Pancha Mahabhutas. Okay, the five elements which we say: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Okay, so these have been sub-classified as Vata Pitta Kapha exclusively for Ayurveda. So apart from Ayurveda, no other science has got Vata Pitta Kapha. Yeah, good evening, Ramesh. Okay, hi, Sabri. So let us slowly get into this. So how the prakriti of a person, that's what we are going to do, nature of a person or the prakriti of a person. So this is basically decided at the time of conception. Okay, that is very important for you to understand. It is not something which evolves or which, over a period of time you adapt to or something. No, it is something which you get at the time of conception and it stays the same. So look at it, you get it at the time of conception. So there's an amazing comparison in Ashtanga Hridaya which says, Vishayaneva Vashakramehe. In the sense, it is like the poison in a poisonous being. Like if you take a snake, okay, the property of the nature of the snake is that a poisonous snake is that it is poisonous. Okay, nobody injects for a kind of infection. Nobody injects poison into a snake for it to become poisonous. Okay, it is poisonous from birth. It might not have the fangs, it might not have that much of potent poison in it, but over a period of time, it exhibits its prakriti. That is how the prakriti of a person is also decided. It happens at the time of conception. Okay, so nature of a person, that's prakriti at the time of conception, and it never ever changes. So if you are born with a prakriti, you live with the prakriti and you die with the same prakriti. The prakriti of a person does not change. Only thing what can happen is you're realizing what your prakriti is and then you are probably working around it. It will not change at all. Okay, so let me slowly get into one by one. Okay, so broad classification of prakriti is Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, and Kapha Prakriti. Okay, you have got these three prakritis, but it's all by predominance. It's not that a person can be exclusively Vata, exclusively Pitta, or exclusively Kapha, because we are basically a combination of all these three things. And when one dominates, we call him, oh, he's a Vata Prakriti, doesn't mean that he's exclusively Vata, as I said. That means he is predominantly Vata or he's predominantly Pitta. Okay, so whatever it is. So this is how the broadest classification of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha happens. Okay, now slowly we'll start seeing how you can make out from where your predominance lies. Okay, so let us slowly get into the the prakritis. Okay, see here, look at a Vata Prakriti person. If you look at a Vata Prakriti person, I'm just trying to give you an overview of how a Vata Prakriti person is going to be. Okay, Here, he will be lean or thin build. He will not be big build. Okay, his skin and hair will be dry. His hands and feet are cold or cool always. He is sensitive to cold weather, and also he cannot, if it is very cold, it need not be very cold. If it is slightly cool also, he will not be able to stand that. And irregular sleep patterns. His sleep is pretty superficial. He's not somebody who can go into deep sleep. Okay, unpredictable digestion. Sometimes he's extremely hungry, sometimes he doesn't have hunger at all. And to answer your question, Ramesh, he is somebody who is habitually constipated. Okay, because he is dry, his gut is also dry, so he's somebody who is habitually constipated. He's somebody who is a quick learner. He learns pretty fast. But the flip side of that is he's somebody who can forget also pretty fast. Okay, so he's creative and imaginative because he's somebody who's got his thoughts going all over the place. So he can come up with some very, very crazy ideas. Okay, and he's not somebody who can focus on one thing, different things at the same time. So he's very creative and he's imaginative. Okay, and he is somebody who is very talkative. He keeps on talking. He never gets tired of talking. And lots of times it might not make too much of sense, but he talks a lot. Okay, so these are the basic characteristics of Vata Prakriti. Now, when you look at Pitta Prakriti, okay, so he is not thin or he is not very bulky. He is medium built and he is very athletic. Okay, he's sharp and he's somebody who's got fantastic body balance. Okay, so his skin is prone to pimples, freckles, and all those acne and all those things, moles and all those things. He's somebody who's got more of that. And his hair tendency, thinning of hair and graying of hair is actually a characteristics of Pitta Prakriti. Okay, he sweats a bit too much, and he is somebody who has got very good appetite and he digests food pretty fast. He keeps on eating. Okay, even though he eats well, he's not somebody who can put on a lot of weight. He is very, as I said, he's sharp and very, very, very intelligent. Okay, and since he's Pitta Prakriti, he's got a lot of fire. He is somebody who is very ambitious, and he can push through to success. He drives. The drive to succeed is pretty high in him. He's somebody who's got leadership quality because he's got that fire in him. Okay, normally we say a CEO of a company or somebody a Pitta Prakriti person should be a CEO of a company. He can actually lead people, and he's very sharp with his words. He can sometimes hurt people with his words, but he's very precise at what he talks. A Vata person can talk all around, all around the place, around the bush. He might not come to the point at all. The Pitta person is very, very sharp, and he is somebody you cannot irritate him too much because he's fiery person. He can get angry very, very, very fast. Okay, now let us try getting to the Kapha Prakriti person. Okay, a Kapha Prakriti person he is bigger built. Vata is thin, Pitta is medium, and a Kapha Prakriti person is bigger built. Okay, and Kapha is predominantly water and earth, so you'll see that he'll have basically that oily and thick skin. Okay, and his hair will be thick hair, lot of hair. Since he's Kapha, he is like a Vata person, pretty fast, moving here and there, and Vata person keeps on moving his hands and legs. It's all about movement. A Pitta person is very, as I said, very athletic, and he's very precise about his movements. But a Kapha person, Sthira, is somebody who is very slow with his movements. Okay, his digestion also is very slow, and he sweats, yes, but his sweat smells. It's not like Pitta person sweats, but his sweat is not that smelly. And he is very calm and grounded. You cannot basically irritate him too much or push him beyond a certain limit. He knows, that he'll not be able to do it, so he's very slow at things. Okay, but he's strong. Okay, he is calm and grounded, loyal and supportive. Vata person, I said, he's very sharp. He picks up things very fast, but he forgets also. So a person, suppose he is somebody, if he doesn't have a reminder, he might sometimes forget an appointment, a Vata person. But a Kapha person, he's not somebody, he's very, very intelligent. He might be slow to learn, but when he learns it, he doesn't miss it at all. Vata person, quick to learn, he loses it pretty fast. Okay, so he's loyal and very, very, very supportive. And lazy, and he's not in a hurry at all. He is easy going. Okay, and what he is somebody who feels like sleeping more. Vata person, as I said, his sleep is very superficial, broken sleeps. Okay, a Kapha person is somebody who likes to sleep. Even if afternoon after food also you give him, Kapha person will like to sit lazy. He can, a little bit of catch with a little bit of a small nap. Night also he sleeps really well. So these are basically the three major what do you call prakritis we see. And what we see is we have got other combinations. We call that a Vata Pitta combination. These are two combinations. We don't have a single what do you call Prakriti person. Predominantly we say 100% Vata is not there, 100% Pitta is not there. We always say predominantly. So we normally say a Vata Pitta person or Vata Kapha person. You have got all these 6 Prakritis also, and it's a combination of all what we saw. Okay, so this is basically about Prakriti, and this is very important for us to treat also when a patient comes to us, trying to find out what his Prakriti is. And then Vikriti is something where where the deviation from his nature has happened. So suppose a person who is a Pitta Prakriti person who says, I normally get hunger nowadays I don't feel hungry at all. So you should understand that for the Pitta person, his Kapha has slightly gone up. That is the reason why he is not feeling hunger. Okay, or the other way around. A Pitta person who says my sleep is always disturbed. So for a Pitta person, if his sleep is disturbed, then his Vata would have gone up. Okay, so understand. So this is actually trying to understand. So getting a person's Prakriti is very important, so that you will know where the deviation has happened, and then you will do things to basically get him back to his Prakriti. Okay, so this is basically about the 3 doshas and the 3 Prakritis, and I already see that a few questions have started coming. Okay, I'll try to answer all those things. Okay, so the first question, Ramesh, I've already answered the question. Constipation is mainly because of Vata Prakriti. The person is dry and let me put that question there. Okay, so a person who is predominantly Vata Prakriti will have habitual constipation. Okay, if the Vata Prakriti is slightly dominating, and if you look at, if he indulges in activities where the Vata goes up, in the sense, if he is traveling too much, any travel will actually increase the Vata. Suppose he's taking a long international flight, might be flying from New York all the way to Delhi, 15 hours, 16 hours. That actually dries the system up, and so what happens if Vata goes? If somebody is habitually staying up at night, so wherever you see that the Vata goes up, there is always a tendency to get constipation. Lakshmi, is Prakriti genetic? Yes, of course. Okay, Prakriti, as I said, Prakriti is something which you get. Your nature is decided at the time of conception, and it does not change till death. Only thing is that sometimes you will shift from the Prakriti because of some issues with your health, but you are always healthy in your Prakriti state. So you can only work around your Prakriti, but your Prakriti will not change. What are the remedies to pacify increased Vata? So Vata is, if you look at in the Panchamahabhutas, Akasha and Vayu, that means space and air is what that dominates Vata. So anything which you do to increase that, the sense, if you are somebody who does a lot of exercise, okay, your Vata goes up. If you don't sleep well at night, your Vata goes up. If you starve too much, your Vata goes up. So anything you do opposite to this, in the sense, if you don't indulge in too much of exercise, if you sleep early, and if you eat on time, okay, if you apply oil on your body, and if you consume foods which are predominantly sweet or sour or oily, will actually pacify Vata. Applying oil on your body and taking a shower, warm water shower, will also pacify Vata. I don't want to get into the medications, but all these things, by and large, if you do things moderately, you can pacify Vata. Citrus fruits can be taken in evening after 6. Does it increase Kapha? Citrus fruit is, if you look at citrus fruit, they're acidic. Okay, and they can. And when you look at amla, the taste is amla. Amla has been described as shita sparsha ushna virya. That means you feel that it is cold to touch, but it is actually hot once it goes inside. So it increases pitta and it reduces kapha. Okay. The thing is, so that's the reason why we normally say don't have, people have got a habit of drinking lemon juice with honey and warm water on empty stomach. If a person has got too much of kapha, it is okay, but still I would say it is not good to have that much of acidic thing in the morning on empty stomach. Okay, so any fruit by and large, okay, is slightly on the cooling side. Citrus fruits might not be that cooling, so it is always, by and large, you have this rule that you have your fruit when the sun is there, probably during the day, and don't try to push your fruit to the evening. Okay. If a person is 50% kapha, 40 vata, and 10 pitta, for his doshas to be in balance, does the doshas need to be 33% each? No. See, 33%, 33%, 33% is an absolutely ideal situation, which is not. Okay. So, if, as you said, if a person is 50, 40, 10, that is what his nature is, and that is where his strength is. Okay. So, if a person is 50% kapha, that means he might be slightly on the plumper side. And if he actually does a lot of activity, okay, and 50% kapha, yes. So if he does a lot of activity to actually lose weight and try to become that pitta or a little bit of vata person, so that he becomes trim, he will actually lose his health. Okay, he is healthy when he's slightly on the plumper side. So if a person is plump, doesn't mean that he is unhealthy. If he's predominantly kapha, he will definitely be plump. Okay, for a vata person who's thin, he does a lot of things to actually, he eats multiple times and he tries to put on a lot of weight. His health will definitely get upset. His health is when he is in that, what do you call, in that vata state. So if you are 50, 40, 10, your health is there, and that is where you have to maintain yourself. Okay. Derma rollers and scalp help for hair growth after applying oil. How to clean derma? How to clean? Okay. Derma rollers, actually what happens is it activates the scalp. Okay. And there are things with needles also, okay, which will actually prick the scalp. So cleaning derma roller, or see, sometimes when you use all these neem, we have got neem combs also. We say never wash it with water. You have to only wipe it clean. Okay, the same thing applies, in my opinion. The same thing also applies to a derma roller. It is always good for you to actually wipe it clean rather than washing it with water. If a kapha dominated person maintains a pro Agni increasing lifestyle for a long time, is it possible to attain qualities? No. No, a kapha, see, if you keep on doing things where you are increasing, continuously keeping your Agni high, that means what happens is, because of that heat of that Agni, kapha is something which is cold, Aditya. So when you keep on giving that heat, this kapha, where your strength lies, will slowly start diminishing. And that after a point of time, you will fall sick. You will never come to a Pitta Prakriti. Okay. Okay, preferred go to see any Ayurvedic company which has got a GMP, which has got an ISO thing. Would, in my opinion, we trust them and we believe that they actually have got good manufacturing practices. Okay, and chemical preservatives, yes, sometimes. Okay, people do add sodium bicarbonate as preservatives, but nowadays we are also, see, when there is water soluble thing, there's always a chance of it getting spoiled. So in kashayams or kadas, we call that, which manufacture, when you concentrate it, people do add a little bit of sodium bicarbonate to see that, and other things, to see that it does not get spoiled, for so that it is there, it still stays in the market. But Nowadays, what people have been doing is they see, in those days, kashayam you make and then you consume it then and there. But now, since it has to reach the market for shelf life, they added all these preservatives. And these are, they modern medicine say that these are safe preservatives, but I don't say that any preservative is safe. Okay, so nowadays what happens is we have started coming out with kashayam tablets. In the sense, the same kashayam which we make, before we actually add preservative into it, we actually spray dry it, and then we actually make it into a pill without preservative. So the same amount of dosage of kashayam you can have it, but in the form of a pill. What you do is you powder it, mix it in water, and then have it. Okay. Other things, like ghee or oil or aristam and all those things, you don't have to add preservative at all. Preservatives are mostly added into kashayams or kadas. Divya, when you see a patient first time with a lot of dosha vitiation, how do you identify that person's prakriti? Okay, this is actually a very good question. So what the patient actually presents to you is the vikriti or the deviation from the prakriti. Okay, so when you start consulting, you ask the patient what the problem is. So he'll say, so normally what happens, the patient only says what the patient is suffering from right now. So then the first question is, okay, since when do you have this problem? So they say, I've got this problem. So before that, how was it? So always ask the question as to how were you before. So when you normally, how are you? Normally, see, I'm not catching up with some good sleep. Don't immediately take that and consider that's the prakriti. Okay. So since when do you have this disturbed sleep? Okay. How was it before that? No, when I was healthy, so this used to be my pattern. So this used to be my appetite. This is how I used to pass my motions. Okay. And my thoughts were like this. Now, I start getting all dreams and, I'm very snappy. So all those things, so that is the vikriti which has happened. And you also have to, that's why we say the history of the disease. When you start looking backwards, then you will be able to get the prakriti of the person. Okay. Then from the prakriti of the person, you'll understand what the vikriti or the deviation has happened, and then you try to rectify it. If one dosha goes up, some other goes down, compulsory to maintain the balance or nothing like that. See, you have say, for example, if you are 33, okay. So if this 33 goes down to 23, that means it's gone down by 10. So either this goes up by 5 or this goes up by 10, this stays the same. So it's always 100. So if one goes down, the other one definitely has to go up. It's not like one goes down, the other doesn't go up. No. So if one goes up, the other will always have to go down. So knowing your prakriti is always good to maintain at your prakriti. Okay. If you are 40, 30 and 30, then 40, 30, 30 is your prakriti, and that's where your health is. It's always good for you to maintain that. That is the way your health is defined. Okay. Neem comb is normally, it is advised that if you ask me that, as you like when we, okay, how do I put it? When we have got this treatment, we call that droni, or where we make the patient lie down. Okay. And traditionally, we use different woods. There are neem woods also, other woods also. Okay. And as you keep on doing treatments on it, okay, the wood starts absorbing the oil. Same thing happens with the neem wood also. It keeps on absorbing the oil because it's a natural product. Okay. And this droni, or this table on which we make the patient lie down for treatment also is, traditionally we never used to wash it. Okay. We only wipe it. The moment you start washing it really well and start, some people also apply soap on it to make it very clean. The moment you start doing that, the property of the wood starts changing and it starts becoming dry, and that is where the table, we call that the droni or toni, we call that. Okay. Pati, we call that actually cracks. Okay. So to preserve the any wood, we all say don't keep on washing it too much and don't make it dry, over dry. That's where it cracks. Okay. So same thing applies to a neem comb also. I don't think you have to wash it. Wipe it really clean Okay, and see that the because you are combing it with oil, right? Let that oil actually seep into the neem comb. How to reduce eczema in the body and hair scalp? Okay, eczema, it's a very common word. Okay, for us, eczema can actually come in different forms. Okay, Shia. Okay, eczema is sometimes dry with scaly things. Eczema is sometimes very itchy, and eczema sometimes is actually you feel the burning sensation, and you have got oozing sometimes. Okay, you have got reddish sometimes. So depending upon the type of eczema, the treatment for eczema actually is different. Okay, so and all eczemas are not the same, and where it actually comes also makes a huge difference. The eczema on the feet and eczema on the head are two different things for us because of this sthana. For us, anything above the heart is kapha sthana, and anything extremities are all vata sthana. So if the eczema is on the feet, even if it is itchy, that means the place where it is, it's vata place, and the thing which has come can be a kapha or the pitta. Okay, so if it's on the head, the place where it has come is a kapha place. Okay, if it is more of scaly, then you've got vata in it. So the treatment for different things, Sham, it changes. Okay, but one thing which I have to say you is your food and your lifestyle is very important as far as eczema goes, and your thought, your stress. If you're really stressed, that's one reason why eczema comes, and if you're really stressed, that's again another triggering factor. Okay, and eczema can be really managed well. Okay, Gopalakrishnan, what is the right way to see? Drumstick leaves can be cooked. I would say it's always good to consume tender drumstick leaves. Many times when you get in the market, you get things which are not so tender. You get all those stalks which are very difficult to remove. Okay, so it's always good. First thing, it's always good to go for tender drumstick leaves. And one thing about in Kerala, what we follow is drumstick leaves are normally not consumed during the heavy rainy season. Okay, and you will see that there are a lot of worms and all those things infested on drumstick leaves. So you should be very careful when you, even during just around rainy season, and sometimes when you have got this too much of mist around, you will see worms on it. So those are two seasons we say to avoid drumstick leaves. And apart from that, you can cook the way you want to cook it. You can add it into a dal and cook it. You can also cook it as such, steam cook, but I would not say don't take it deep fry at all. Okay, if that's what you want to know, you can actually add it in dal or steam cook and have it. Okay. Okay. During the kapha stage of the day, so mornings, probably if the sunrise is at 6, then probably 6 to 10 is kapha age, kapha part of the day. And yes, if you during for a person who's got excess of kapha, okay, that is the kapha period. So it is always good for you to do exercise during the kapha period. It will definitely balance the kapha. But for a person who is vata, okay, he at any given time he should not exercise during the evenings, because evenings are again vata. So he is vata, evening is vata, and doing exercise also increases the vata. So 1 + 1 + 1 is actually bad for him. But for a vata person, if he has to do exercise, since he is thin, he should not do over exercise. He should do mildly. It's actually good for him to do it in the morning, because it is kapha season. He'll have that little bit of strength for him to do exercise. So doing exercise also matters. What time of the day you do exercise, and what result do you want to extract from the exercise you do. Yeah, Shashikar. What are things to do during vata phases of the day? See, vata phases of the day, the first thing vata phase is before sunrise, maybe 3 to 4 hours before sunrise. I would say sleep well, okay, and getting up before, so when the vata time, that's the reason why people say that you have to get up before sunrise. That's again during the vata season, and vata is the one which uh, contributes to all the movements of the body, even defecation, even passing motions is vata. Okay, so you get up in the morning during the vata period, it's easier for you to actually pass motions. Okay, and the next vata time is between 6 and evening, after 6 and 10. So we always, sorry, the first is between evening, between what I call 2 and 6. Okay, so 2 and 6 is also vata period. So that is the time we normally notice that after lunch, 2:30, 3 o'clock, by the time you are 4, 4, 5, that is when you have got the maximum energy drop. That is because it is vata time. Okay, you will feel like eating something, and that is the time where you can actually slowly start having your dinner. Don't let the vata tree actually go up, and then you can have your dinner. So morning vata time is a time where you early part of vata you sleep well, and then you pass your motion on the defecation. And evening part of the vata, don't over exercise yourself, and that is the time before sunset or around sunset is the time where you can have your dinner, so that the vata is undertaken, vata is controlled. Yeah, there are, Lakshmi, there are a lot of online, what do you call, forms which you can fill, and then you can, to a certain extent, you can actually find out your Prakriti. But I will always say it's always good for you to go to a good Ayurvedic doctor, sit with him, because sometimes all the answers you give might be your state in which you are right now. So probably it will be great if you can spend some time going to an Ayurvedic doctor, sitting with him, and then having a conversation, and then he'll be able to analyze your project. That will be better. But there are so many forms online which you can also go through, and then you know find your Prakriti out. Almost accurate. I would not say completely, but you'll be able to have an idea. But ideally, kashayam should be made fresh every day. Doctors can ask patients to make themselves. Yeah, Purvi, yes. Um, but these days, kashayam has to be made every day and to be consumed every day. When they consume fresh, they are much better. No doubt about it. But very few people are ready to make their kashayams on a daily basis. Even when you give them pre-prepared kashayams, they refuse to take. So, as times change, Ayurveda also is trying to adapt a little bit. Effectiveness, if you look, yes, freshly prepared kashayam is always better, but people don't make it at home, because who will go? First thing is that if you write a prescription, who will go and collect all the medicines first? Who will chop it for them? And who will add the right amount of water? People, see, grandmothers used to do it. My mom and all knows how to make kashayam. Even I know, because I'm in this field. Okay. So that know-how is also lost. People don't have the patience to do that. But as you said, effectiveness, yes, they are more effective. Can mind and gut prakriti be same or different? See, mind and gut, or you mean the physical body and the mind? Okay, gut prakriti is basically a part of your body, right, and your mind. I would say you cannot have a extremely predominantly vata body and predominantly pitta mind. It doesn't happen. When you are in a combination, you are not absolutely a vata prakriti. So when you have got certain characteristics of vata, and in your pitta also you have certain characteristics of pitta, both physically and mentally. Okay, so in the sense, what you think will actually affect your body, and what you do will also affect your mind. So when you are a combination of certain prakritis, your mind and your body will take certain characteristics of that prakriti and behave accordingly. You cannot have a totally opposite mind and a totally opposite body. That doesn't happen in the prakriti. Is there any way I can understand what my prakriti is? Okay, see, well, you see, there are so many online questionnaires which you can answer, and you can have, you'll have an idea as to what your Prakriti is. But just as I told before, you actually sitting with the doctor and consulting him would be the best option, the number one option. Other things you can find out what your Prakriti is to a certain extent, but I don't think that might be extremely accurate, but you'll have an idea. It's fun to actually fill those forms. Is there any natural antacid? I don't know what you mean natural antacid. Okay. Yes, there are a lot of preparations in Ayurveda. You have got, the mostly used thing is Shankha Bhasma. Okay. Conch or what do you call calcium. We make a Bhasma out of it and oxidized form of it, and it's being used widely. And it actually works really well. But I would say, rather than going for a natural antacid, you should try to understand where and why that acid is coming up. Okay. And 99% it can be because of the food you take or the lifestyle you are leading. And Ayurveda says Nidana Parivarjanam Chikitsa. That means avoidance of the causative factor. So please try to see where your food is going wrong or where your lifestyle is going wrong and try to rectify that. If there is a can't birth situation, yes, we have got a lot of medicines which can manage. You have got Bhaskara Lavanam, you have got Avipattikara Churnam, you have got Shankhabhasmam, you have got Pomkara de Guliga. A lot of medicines are there which can manage acidity, but that is not the right approach. Time being, yes, but you have to actually rectify it from the roots. Isn't Vata Pitta too complicated because Vata needs warm food and Pitta needs cold? It's a contra and confusing for person. No, Vata Pitta is basically not that confusing if you look, because Vata is light, Pitta is also light. Okay, these two qualities are common for Vata and Pitta. And when you say warm food and Pitta needs cold food, here, sometimes people get confused about warm and cold. Warm and cold are not basically to touch. Okay, when we say Shita and Ushna, it is basically after digestion. So if after digestion, see a chili, if you take a chili from a fridge, it is cold, right? That doesn't mean that it will increase Vata. It will reduce Vata. It will pacify Pitta. You bite it, after some time Pitta goes up. So here Ushna and Shita is basically after post-digestion, whether it releases heat or it makes the body cool down. So for a Vata Pitta person, you take normal food in moderate quantities, it will balance the food. Milk, ghee, both pacify Vata and Pitta. Okay, anything which is slightly oily will not increase the Pitta. If you add too much of oil, yes, Pitta goes up. But if it is moderate, it will balance the Pitta and it will also bring Vata under control. Anything that is sweet will pacify both Vata and Pitta. We have got things how to work around it. Okay, you only have to understand it. Itchy scalp basically indicates that there is actually a little bit of kapha there. Okay, and excessive itching. Mild itching can also be because of the dryness. When there is excessive itching, it could be because of the kapha. Okay, heaty and dry. Okay, these are two things. Okay, when you are somebody who is consuming a lot of alcohol, just giving a very straight example, it is heated, it generates heat in the body. Okay, and after a point of time, you are a habitual drinker. It so happens that any alcohol, okay, when you say constipation, constipation is basically created because the body becomes dry. So initially when you drink alcohol, you might feel that you're passing motions because Pitta suddenly goes up and you feel you're passing motions. But after you consume alcohol for a longer period of time, from the Pitta state, it actually gets into the Vata state. Okay, you start losing weight. Okay, you start getting constipated. Even though that actually generates a lot of heat, it affects your Vata. Okay, same thing, if you look at exercise. Exercise is something which actually generates a lot of heat in the body. But If you do it mildly, it'll actually manage the vata. But if you start overdoing exercise, that heat will actually increase the vata and denourish you. Yes, Mallikarjuna. Pigmentation on back and hand. Okay, depends upon what kind of pigmentation. If it is blackish in color, then you've got vata. If it is pale, then it is kapha. If it is reddish and different colors, then it is pitta. So depending upon what kind of pigmentation you have on the body, the treatment also changes. Okay, and what kind of, whether it is shape wise, also things change. That's how we actually try to find out which dosha is predominant. Whether it is thick, okay, when it is thick, then there is too much of kapha in it. So a lot of factors actually come into play, Mallikarjun. Can Ayurvedic treatments done once permanently reduce eye power, and can it be replacement for? You see, here it all depends from person to person. There are a lot of cases where after Ayurvedic treatment, people glasses have been removed, and people don't have to go for even glasses. So LASIK surgery is also out of the question. So it depends upon how committed you are also into it. Okay, so yes, and it doesn't mean that every eye disease, every short sight or long sight can be cured. Okay, but once you go through treatment, your eyes will become much better. The progress at sometimes what happens is your eyesight, your sight diminishes pretty fast, right? That is actually slowed down a lot. So it's not only about you being off glasses, but if your power keeps on increasing, that's also bad, right? That can be really handled well. What to do in the pitta stage is basically the time where we say you have to have your food. Okay, and kapha stage is a time, say morning, if you see, from evening from 6 to 10. That's the reason why our elders say that you have to actually start sleeping at the kapha age. Okay, kapha part of the day. Evenings, yes. Ideally speaking, before, you see, after, if you have your dinner about 8 o'clock or so, you'll see that about 9:30, you'll see that you're slowly getting sleepy, but you get distracted by doing something else and you miss that window. After that, you get into the pitta state, you're again active. So it is always good. See, kapha is something which actually puts you to rest. And if you start sleeping during the kapha period after food, okay, you will actually sleep peacefully throughout the night. Okay, and morning kapha period is a time where you can probably be active, start doing a lot of exercises. It's a slow beginning for the day, because you're slightly groggy. So that's a time where you have to do your exercises. See, it's the same thing, seniors or juniors, it doesn't make a huge difference. Acidity is something 90%. See, if you look at the textbooks of Ayurveda, early textbooks, you will not find, you will just see something like daha, but the disease, hyperacidity and all those things came later stage. So what we try to understand that as people used to live a disciplined life, okay, in the 1,000-2,000 years back, these issues were not there at all. The moment we started, nightlife, okay, enjoying life, indulging in too much of spicy food, and food coming from different parts of the world, once people started doing all those things, health started deteriorating. So I would say, trying to understand why acidity happens is more important than taking some medicine for it. Superfoods or herbs. There aren't any superfoods or herbs. Everything is super if you know how to use it. Okay, Gopala Krishnan. If you know how to use it, everything is super for you. But one thing I can say is, milk is something which all of us say is a superfood, because milk is basically the essence of an animal. When milk comes out of the animal, that is basically the essence of all the nutrition of the body. And that is something which can pacify thirst and hunger at the same time. That's the reason why a baby, till 8 months drinks only breast milk, and it grows pretty in size and everything grows. Milk is something which can do that. Nothing else can do that. But everything is superfood if you know how to use it. Pomegranate peel powder. Okay, pomegranate peel powder. You eat pomegranate at home. You dry the peel, powder it, and keep it. It is actually very good. All of you can do it. It's actually very good for diarrhea. Okay, suddenly you get diarrhea, because of some problem. If you consume pomegranate peel powder with slightly sour buttermilk, it works wonders for diarrhea. Can Shankhavasma be used in Updan? As I have and don't know how to use. Shankhavasma is something we don't give it as such. Shankhavasma is normally mixed with something and given. You can mix Shankhavasma with Avipatikara Churna or with Madhyashti Churna, and you can mix it with milk and give. Don't give it as such. It's always good to mix it with something and give. Okay, and not supposed to be given on a long duration. Like, if you take anything which actually pacifies your Agni, like that, after a point of time your Agni fails to start working. Okay, so temporarily, yes, I said you can work on it, but try to see why things are going wrong and then correct that rather than depending more on Shankhavasma. Yes, sometimes. So that's actually a nice one, Aniruddha. Yes. Dry hair or scalp can also be because of the Prakriti. If a person is Vata Prakriti, you can see his skin by and large is dry. Okay. But if, so how much ever moisturizers you apply in the body, you will see that's only temporary thing. So for such a person, it is always good that the oil has to come from within. So consuming probably a little bit of ghee or oil with food, not deep fry, oil or ghee with food on a regular basis will actually, and then, as I said, mild exercise. So the moment he starts walking and does mild exercise, the body sweats, and from the sebum, oil starts coming out. Whatever oil you have consumed will also, so it will make the skin softer. For a person who has got cracking heels, how much can you apply on top? If the person starts taking ghee on a daily basis at bedtime, you see after about a month or so, the crack will start healing, because the oiliness has to come from within. Okay, so for this case also, applying oil, and then again, after you apply oil, you wash it with harsh soaps or harsh shampoos. Again, that oil is lost, right? So for you have to start understand your hair and then do accordingly. If your hair is dry, don't use strong shampoos. Otherwise, also don't use strong shampoos. Yeah, Rama, I am Vata dominant person. I like to get up early, but during evenings I feel low. Okay. So you like to get up early is actually a nice thing for a Vata predominant person, and if you are slightly aged, okay, you can actually catch up with an afternoon nap. Okay, Vata Prakriti person, aged person, and in summers, yes, you are permitted to actually take a small kuti nap in the afternoon, and you can feel rejuvenated. Okay, absolutely, don't feel guilty about it. I didn't understand that. Okay. See, gut microbiome is something which is in right now. Okay, when we mean by the word Agni, we have got Agni is basically 13 types, Aditya. Okay, we have got, in the sense, the main, the digestive thing, and then you have got the 5 for the Pancha Mahabhutas and 7 for all the tissues. So basically, when you look at Agni, it is about the whole digestive process, not only happening here. Every metabolism at every state is basically Agni. Okay, so when you look at the gut biome, it is directly related to the digestion. So for us, gut, or we call that the Pakvasha, that is 100% a part of Agni. You can't say, bacteria and all those things, even though they have told Sukshma Krimi, that means what do you call, krimi is something, a living thing, sukshma, which is not visible to the naked eye. Acharya Charaka 3,000, 4,000 years back have mentioned, even without the microscope, that there are adrishya krimis that which are not visible to the naked eye. So I don't want to say that he actually meant gut biome. I don't want to tell that. But gut is actually a part of digestion, and you see all those videos coming up right now. I think they are slowly coming up to that. Okay, because it might be slightly off topic, but for all mental issues, Ayurveda mentions Vasti, or to control Vata. Vasti is medicated enema. Okay, now recently they have found out that the brain cells and the cells in the gut are almost similar. So when we say my gut feeling, it actually is your brain that is feeling. Okay, so if you've got issues with your brain or Vata, too much of anxiety and all those things, we actually give Vasti. Okay, because the brain cells and the cells of the gut are almost similar. Okay, but still, I don't want to say that Ayurveda is told about gut biome and all those things. Ayurveda says you stick to a normal life, moderate thing, protect your Agni. When you say protect your Agni, everything involves Agni here. Shalini, okay. IBS is a condition, in Ayurveda there's a condition called Grahani. Okay, Grahana means holding. Okay, you might have heard of Chandra Grahana, Surya Grahana, when solar eclipse. So when the moon holds the sun, we call that Chandra Grahana, Surya Grahana. Okay, that means the moon is holding it. So same way, we've got a disease called Grahani, where food has to be held. If the food is not being held, we call it Grahani Roga. And that is basically IBS. IBS has been mentioned in Ayurveda, and Ayurveda also says that is not an easy condition to handle. Okay, so your food is basically not being held in the body. That's what Ayurveda means about Grahani. And it is not an easy condition to manage. Yes, we can manage it, but it's not an easy condition to cure completely. Yeah, Puri, yes, if you get any spices which generates a lot of heat, yes, it is basically that is the one that is creating high pitta, and it's always good for you to either reduce it or not take it, because it might not be suiting you. Sleeping during the day is bad for Vata, Pitta, but naps are recommended for Vata, Prakriti. Can I nap post lunch? I love afternoon naps. All of us love afternoon naps, but it's actually not good. Sleeping during day is bad for Vata. Sleeping during day, Diva Swapnam Snigdham. In the sense, sleeping during the day is actually good for Vata because it balances the Vata. It's bad for Kapha. It increases your body weight, your Kapha. You feel sluggish. Okay. So if a person wants to put on weight, sleep in the afternoon, you'll put on weight. Okay. So see, I don't say something is good or something is bad. Anything you do will actually give you a result. Is that the result what you're expecting is what I'm asking you. So if you don't sleep at night, what will happen is your Kapha will go down. If a person is extremely fat, he wants to lose weight. If he doesn't sleep at night, you'll see that he starts getting denourished. If a person is Vata Prakriti and he doesn't sleep at night, you'll see that he actually, he's lost. So every activity you do will have a result. Understand that and do it. Okay. Query from Sneha. Who's Sneha? Okay. Ama. It is generally advised not to add ghee to food cooked in oil. Is it really the case, or it doesn't matter to mix both of them? Okay. See, mixing oil and ghee in small quantities doesn't matter too much. But I would say as much as possible, don't mix things. Okay, say there are people who actually mix. They take a bowl of fruit, or maybe 5 or 6 varieties of fruit. We don't know how each fruit interacts with each other. Okay, to be open. And so what I tell people is, if you've got 5 fruits, have 1 fruit on Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have already consumed all the 5 fruits. Why do you want to eat all the 5 fruit in one day? Mix everything together and have. Okay, so same thing I'm asking you, Aditya. Why do you want to mix oil and ghee? Okay, you either use oil or mix ghee. You take oil one day, take ghee, or take oil for one meal and take ghee for the next meal. Why do you want to mix and confuse? After a Vasti course of 7 days, very thin and Vata Vikriti for a Vata person not having any change. Any thought on why incomplete evacuation still remains? Okay, so Panchakarma, this is Vasti is a Panchakarma treatment. It is very important. Panchakarma is basically the Pradhana Karma or the main Karma. It is very important how the person has been prepared for the Panchakarma. Okay, preparation is as important as the Panchakarma, Vasti, and post the treatment is also very important. So all these three things are very important. And if the person doesn't have, still feels difficulty in passing motions, then either he was not prepared well, or the treatment was not done properly, or post treatment the care was also not done properly. That's all I would want to say, because I don't know where you have gone wrong. Okay, and if the person is extremely Vata and the nature of the person is to be habitually constipated, then he will always have constipation. You have to work around it. That's why I said post treatment, you have to really work around it. Why do you want to consume pomegranate peel powder is my first question. Okay, as a medicine, yes, but otherwise I don't think you should be consuming pomegranate peel powder at night, because it can lead to constipation. Yes, Puri, what happens is, we have got, because there's a thing called anuloma. Anuloma is Vata moving downwards. Okay. Normally we eat food, we swallow, it goes down, it goes out. So that is a normal movement of Vata. So the moment you are constipated here, the Vata is not moving properly, so it starts coming up, and that's the reason why you are feeling difficulty in breathing. It is very, very natural. So the moment you pass motions, you'll feel better. Okay, that is why out of syllabus, what I'm telling you, a person who has got breathing issues like asthma, okay, tamagastu virechanam, we have told that the treatment is basically giving medicines for loose motions, not making the person vomit. The treatment is purgation. Okay. Yes, Anirudh, you can use it, but see that you don't use it on a regular basis. You can use hibiscus leaf powder, but don't use it on a regular basis, and see that you dry your scalp even more. Can sesame oil be used to be cooking as per Ayurveda, or sesame is only recommended in external application? See, Purvi, states like Tamil Nadu, they cook everything in sesame oil. Okay, and in Kerala we cook in coconut oil. Pan India, everybody uses ghee, but different states they use different oils for cooking. Sunflower oil came only very recently, right? Some people use mustard oil, some people use groundnut oil. When if you are used to that oil, I'm not telling you about the dish. If you are used to that oil and genetically this is the oil on which you have been brought up, it is fine. Sesame oil is one of the best oils for cooking, but not for somebody like me. For me, it might be coconut oil, but somebody who's used to it, it's the best oil. Hariharan, okay, you get too much of phlegm in the morning when you get up. So is it okay to add ghee in the morning? See, when you add, see, ghee is also something which increases kapha. It reduces vata and pitta and increases kapha. So if you add ghee into the milk, it will actually worsen your situation if you feel that it is a milk that is causing the kapha. Okay, the reason why people drink milk at night is to basically see that they get good sleep. Okay, if you want to drink milk, drink it during the day. Okay, you'll get the benefit of the milk, but the kapha also will not go up. How to check if our body is consuming everything what we eat, specifically protein? I don't know why you are specifically talking about protein. Protein is only one part of your food. Okay, don't be over obsessed with protein. If you're not somebody who is actually bodybuilding or doing something like that as a sport, don't be over obsessed with your protein. Have a balanced food. See what traditionally food what you are consuming and eat that. And trust your body, and body will take whatever it needs if you are disciplined. If you are eating on time and you're consuming food in moderation, body will definitely digest and take everything. Also your lifestyle, you're sleeping early, you're doing, you are by and large you're doing little exercise. Don't be too worried about the body will absorb everything. whatever it needs. Okay. Some people say chana can be had with milk, but amla is sour and should not be mixed with milk. Yeah, and Purvi, Chyawanprash is not amla. Okay, amla is only one ingredient in Chyawanprash. Okay, so don't even bother about it. And Chyawanprash, when you say prasha is actually food. The way we consume Chyawanprasha is actually not the right way of having it. The way it was intended. Okay, it was basically made for Chavana Muni, and prasha means food. And he used to consume Chyawanprasha or this mixture as food, not as a tonic after breakfast, one spoon and drink milk over it. That is not the way it was actually intended to be taken. Yes, if you take it like that also, it will have a cumulative effect after a longer period of time. But consuming milk over Chyawanprasha is not at all a problem, because amla is only very little in it. And when amla is cooked to that strength, don't even bother about it being sour. Chyawanprasha is not very sour to taste. Are there any vegetables that cannot be cooked or consumed together? Also, any vegetables or puriyal that should not be taken with curd rice? I think I answered this last week. Okay. By and large, if you look at, that's the reason why I say when you're cooking at home, don't mix all vegetables and put everything into one dish and start making your puriyals or whatever it is. Limit yourself to puriyals. One day you take this, next day, as I say, you keep on changing the vegetable rather than mixing all vegetables and having. Okay. And Ayurveda does not promote too much of uncooked foods, because it says if the food is cooked once, it's easily digestible. So Ayurveda promotes a lot of cooked foods rather than uncooked foods. I think, Gopalakrishnan, that answers your question. So with curd rice, I would say curd rice itself is not a very healthy food to be consumed on a daily basis. Afternoon, yes, little bit if you want to have, you can have. I would say rather go for buttermilk, more sadham, buttermilk rice rather than going for curd rice. Okay. Shalini, yes, Shalini, there is a treatment for IBS, as I was just telling, but it is not an. One second, let me see. I'm not able to go up. Yeah, Shalini, there is an Ayurvedic treatment for IBS, but it is not something which is easy to handle, Shalini. Okay. Can lean Vata trying to gain weight eat only 2 meals if it doesn't feel hungry, move, or rather 3 meals as recommended so Vata doesn't get high? See, now, traditionally speaking, Ayurveda says 2 meals. Okay. And it's okay because we have our lifestyle have changed. We go to work early, come back late. 3 meals are fine. And a Vata person, I don't recommend a Vata person to try to gain too much of weight, because that will actually, see, health is not about weight here. If he feels healthy, then I think his weight is fine. Okay. And if he tries to put on that weight, then he'll start feeling unhealthy, because then there's a shift from his nature. Okay. Let him eat 3 meals moderately and stay the way he is. Vitamin B12 naturally have food on time. Okay. Milk and milk products, ghee, buttermilk. Okay. Most of the dals, lot of things have got vitamin B12. Okay. I would say consume food on time, and then also be active a little bit. If your body really is active, lot of things the body will take care of. Puri, yes, this live is saved. Yes, once this thing gets over, you can actually watch it on the YouTube channel. It's going to be there. Don't worry at all. Okay. Preeti, 1:1:1:1. No. By anyone, yes, you can consume it if you feel like it, but it is not something which you should be consuming it on a regular basis, because 1:1:1:1 is actually medicine. You will get used to it. So anything, I would say, depend more on food rather than medicines. Okay, it can be consumed, if you have got a medical condition, but otherwise don't. There are foods like avial where more than 5 to 7 vegetables are added. Similarly, Gujarati food like, is it wrong combination? One thing, Rama, I would want to tell you is avial is, see, when you say wrong combination, let me come to that. We call that viruddhahara. Okay, viruddhahara, we say don't, what do you call, mix certain foods with certain foods. It becomes poison. That doesn't mean that when you take fish with milk, you immediately die. That's not what we mean by when you say visha. Visha means vishamam karodi. That means it can give you troubles. Okay, and you just because you eat one day you eat avial, it's not going to be a problem. But if you start eating avial regularly, okay, or wrong combination on a regular basis, that is when you fall sick. Because sometimes people say, I took curd rice yesterday night and I'm all fine today. That's not the way. You start consuming curd rice every night for a period of time, you will see that you will fall sick. Okay, so it is basically cumulative. So don't be too worried. Once in a while you go for a feast, you have avial, have it. Okay, but don't make it a regular part of your food. So usually avials are seen only for festivals. Now we see festival, everything is apatya. You mix the whole combination when you see and a lot of paisam and all those things, it becomes too difficult for the body to handle. But if you consume that food on a daily basis, you're gonna fall sick. Ayurveda doesn't recommend to have one meal a day. Okay, a person who, if you eat twice, you're called a bhogi. That means a person who's enjoying food is a person who eats only twice. That's what Ayurveda recommends. Okay, but if a person is on a spiritual path, a yogi person, we say yogi needs to eat only once. Need to eat. Okay, because he's not too much into anything physical. He's more into penance and within himself, so he need to eat only once. It's for a yogi. Dhanantaram Thailam has reduced knee muscle pain. Yes, Dhanantaram Thailam is actually a very good medicine or for excellent application. Okay, it controls Vata really well and it is very good for pains. Okay, but apart from that, you also have to see that you do a little bit of strengthening of the muscles around the knee also. Okay, so I think we have come to the end of the questions right now. It's more than an hour. Okay. Last question, Hariharan. Okay. Does it mean that even if I'm not feeling hungry, one should eat as per time? No, I don't say that. See, thing is that if you're used to eating 2-3 meals and you have your breakfast and then at lunchtime, normally you are hungry. If you're not hungry, then you look what happened during your breakfast. You probably would have eaten something wrong or you would have overeaten. Something was very tasty. You ate more, so you're not hungry for lunch. Okay. Otherwise, if you're somebody who eats a little bit for breakfast, by lunchtime you'll be hungry and by dinner time you'll be hungry. So it's again your habits, okay, that's actually making you fall sick. So if you're not hungry, what I would say is probably push your lunch a little bit to about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, have the little bit of lunch and then skip your dinner. But see that the quantity of food if you might have consumed more of heavy food rather than other things, okay. So that is something which you have to be very careful. Okay, if a Kapha Vata person relocates to colder place in Europe, will it be healthy for him? I don't know. Not too much. Kapha person will be able to manage it, but a Vata person will find it very difficult because even slightly cool weather actually disturbs a Vata person. Very cold weather only will disturb a Kapha person. So it will be more difficult for a Vata person to survive in colder areas rather than a Kapha person. Okay. So with this, we end today's session. I'll meet you again next Tuesday with some topic at 9 p.m. IST. Okay. Good night.